I've been on the carnivore diet for 2 months. Here's what happened.
Hey y'all, welcome back to our channel. We're the Carnivore Couple. I'm Pat.
And I'm Caitlin.
If you don't know, I've lost 130 pounds in the last year and a half on the carnivore diet.
And now it's my turn, and I'm on a journey to lose 100 pounds in the next year, and I just finished day 60. So in this video, I want to give you guys an update about how much weight I lost and the changes that happened over the last 60 days. Let's get into it.
So the big question is, how much weight have you lost so far?
So at the very beginning of my carnivore journey, I started in here at 255 pounds. And so then I just weighed in here at day 60, and I am down now to 223 pounds.
Wow.
So over these last 60 days, I lost a total of 32 pounds. In month 1, I actually lost 18 pounds in that month. Now here in month 2, I also lost 14 pounds. So it's been pretty similar both months. I hope that momentum keeps going.
Yeah.
But I know as I keep going and I keep getting closer to my goals, it's probably going to slow down a little bit, but it is really encouraging and it's really motivating that I'm actually seeing the results that I want. 32 pounds.
That's amazing. Sometimes it's not always about the number on the scale. How's your clothes fitting? How's your body composition like? What's your measurements?
So my pants are literally falling off. Like my favorite pair of jeans, I put them on and then I was like doing stuff around the kitchen and they just started to get looser and looser and looser. I'm like, what in the world? My pants are literally falling off.
And they literally just fell off. It was funny.
Like, what's the point of this? This is crazy. So I'm now moving on to just leggings until I reach my goal weight or until those get super baggy. But yeah, I'm just shrinking out of my clothes. I'm not used to that. I'm usually outgrowing my clothes. So that's a really nice feeling. But you know, with my pants falling off, I was really curious how my measurements have changed this month. And so I was just looking at my measurements that I have here. I've lost a total of 3.5 inches on my chest, 3 inches in my waist, and 3 inches in my hips. And that's just in 2 months. I started this journey at around a size 20, and I went to Walmart the other day just to kind of try on clothes to try to see what size I was without having to buy anything. And I can now fit into a size 16 jean.
Wow.
So that's like 2 pant sizes lost here. So 1 pant size each month, I bet. So
awesome. My
body is changing and the weight is changing. So gotta just keep going.
Keep on trucking.
Get to my 100-pound goal.
So I'm super proud of your progress so far. And the carnivore diet is not only helping you, but it's helped me lose over 130 pounds.
You look so different.
Yeah,
People in our real life are like, oh my goodness, I didn't even recognize who you were.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it works for lots of people.
Yes, and it's saved my life. But one thing that I've always had to use along the entire journey was supplementing with electrolytes. That brings us to today's video sponsor, Element. So if you're thinking about starting the carnivore diet, or if you're just starting out, just know that with any kind of low carb diet, at the beginning you dump a lot of water, and with that excess water goes all of your electrolytes. And you have to supplement that somehow. And our favorite way to do that is Element.
I've noticed that if I don't have my electrolytes, I really start to get the headaches back. And especially while I'm breastfeeding right now, I can easily become dehydrated. So it's so important, even for me, to supplement with electrolytes. My favorite flavor is the watermelon salt. It kind of tastes like a salty Jolly Rancher, so that's definitely my favorite. Do you have a favorite flavor?
Mine's most definitely grapefruit. Grapefruit hits the spot for me.
I've never had the grapefruit one. Now I'm gonna have to try it.
Super good.
And right now, Element is offering our audience a free sample pack with any purchase when you use our link, drinkelement.com/carnivorecouple. Again, that's DRINKELEMENT.com/carnivorecouple. Thank you to Element for sponsoring this video.
So other than weight loss and your clothes literally falling off, what other changes have you noticed?
I think one of my biggest changes that I've noticed is that I have a lot of energy even if I don't have any sleep.
We don't get much sleep now because we have twins, but
yeah, we have, if you're new to our channel, they're 3 months old now. We have 3-month-old twins. So luckily they're only waking up once a night, but that still can't, well, on a good night.
Yeah.
But that still can make you really sleep deprived. And I've just noticed that when I'm fueling my body with lots of protein and fat, and I'm in ketosis and my body is burning my own fat for fuel, I just have so much energy to power me throughout the day. And I'm not experiencing these highs and lows that I would if I was on a standard American high carbohydrate diet. And so it's just really great that I have this consistent stream of energy because, you know, my day starts at 6 a.m. and my day doesn't ever really end because we're up throughout the night. But that just keeps fueling me throughout my day. Another change that I've noticed is that I have more confidence and I actually smile now. You know, I go back through my pictures, you know, previously before I've lost weight, and I never really used to smile. I would always do this little half smile because I hated the way my face looked when I smiled because my face would get so round and my cheeks would puff out really big. And so now when I take a picture, I just feel like I can just smile and I'm getting more confident and happier about the way I look when I smile. And it's just those little things that change when you lose weight.
Yep, it's nice to see your smile again.
Another change that I've noticed is that I haven't had as bad of postpartum depression. Like we said, we do have newborn twins, and so, you know, postpartum depression is something that can happen to a lot of women, but the rates of postpartum depression are even higher for moms who have twins. And I am just so grateful that I have not experienced postpartum depression during this period of my life. You know, with our first son Wyatt, he was born early, he was in the hospital, and then my hormones must have just been going crazy. I was not giving my body proper nutrition. I was just eating junk during the postpartum period with my first kid, and I had really bad postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety, and I was just crying and weepy all the time, and I was just in a very low place, and I ended up going on medication and seeing a therapist and different things like that. And now, fast forward to this pregnancy, when my chance of getting postpartum depression is even higher, I feel like I've been relatively stable this postpartum period. Yes, I still have days where it's just a really hard day, but overall, I just feel like I'm in a much better mood. I have so much more energy. My emotions are stable, my blood sugar is stable, and I'm fueling my body with nutritious food. And it's just awesome to see how when you put good things into your body, you're gonna get good things out of your body.
Exactly. So speaking of postpartum and babies, we've seen in the comments people are kind of asking, like, how is your milk supply on the carnivore diet?
So I think milk supply is different for every single person. You know, you have undersuppliers, just right suppliers, and oversuppliers. So I'm just going to tell you my experience. So I have always been an oversupplier, but I do have 2 babies who need milk.
Yeah.
And one other side note I want to make is that since our babies were in the NICU, they weren't able to really latch and actually breastfeed, so I'm just an exclusive pumper, and I have been that way for our first son too. But one thing that's great about that is I can really see how changes in my diet impacts my milk supply. So for me personally, I haven't noticed that being on a super low carb diet has impacted my milk supply. And as long as I am eating at least 1 to 2 meals a day, so I still sometimes fast breakfast.
And drinking a lot is a big one too.
And if I drink enough water, then my milk supply does not drop. If, however, I'm not getting enough calories, or if I'm not drinking enough water throughout the day, then I do notice a decrease in my milk supply. But for me, if I just continue to drink more water, maybe get some more calories, then my milk supply comes right back up.
So far, everything has been really positive and really good, but has there been anything negative that you've seen happen so far?
There's been a few negative side effects. I think the biggest one would be dehydration. With breastfeeding at the same time as going on a low carb diet, and how we talked about, you know, when you go so low carb, your body just flushes a lot of water. And so not only was that happening, but then my body is also taking water to make milk for babies. And so I feel like I can get super easily dehydrated. So I have to really stay on top of my water intake, and I have to really make sure that I'm supplementing with electrolytes so that I don't get dehydrated. So this may be a little bit TMI, but during my first month when I started carnivore, I was a little worried about the color of my pee. Because it was a lot darker color than normal, and I was like, is this not going to work out? Like I don't want to get dehydrated. Like I'm a little concerned about what's happening here. But I just continued to drink tons more water and continued to supplement with electrolytes, and it eventually came back to a normal color. So if there's any negative side effect for me, it has been a little bout with dehydration, but you know, I've got some other things going on, so maybe for someone who's not breastfeeding, they wouldn't experience that as much. So another negative side effect that I've experienced is a little bit of loose skin. Now, this just comes with the territory of losing a lot of weight. And for those of you who have been following our channel since the very beginning, I originally started my very first attempt at carnivore about 1.5 years ago, and I started at 288 pounds. I had a little break in there for 9 months when I was pregnant with our twins, and then now what I'm documenting now and working towards is losing 100 pounds since I restarted carnivore postpartum. So I originally 1.5 years ago started at 288 pounds, and I'm down to 223 pounds. So over that course of time, I have still lost 65 pounds. And I do have some loose skin for that. I'm starting to see it show up on my arms. I have a little bit like under my neck. My body is changing, and I'm gonna have to deal with loose skin. And I bet you could speak more to that than I can after losing 130 pounds.
I put myself in the position to weigh over 300 pounds, and I did the work to get down to, where I'm at now. So like it's part of it.
But looking at you, you would have never known you weighed over 300 pounds because your clothes cover a majority of it. And it's just, I'm the person who weighed over 280 pounds. And so that is something that I'm going to have to deal with. And it's going to continue to get a little worse as I continue to lose weight.
And you mentioned that, people who didn't know me before that I know now, I tell them like, hey, I lost 130, 140 pounds in the last year and a half. They're like, really? Like, what? You can't even tell. Like,
yeah,
so
they don't believe you.
Yeah.
But anyways, negative side effects I've experienced would be a little bit of dehydration and then a little bit of loose skin.
So what are your goals for the next 30 days?
So my biggest goal, honestly, is not very big. It's just to stay on track and to stay consistent, because that's what's going to help me meet one of my biggest goals, which is to be below 200 pounds by December. My big goal is to lose 100 pounds in the next year, but I kind of broke that up into a mini goal that I want to be below 200 pounds by January 1st. So for this next 30 days, in order to get to that, I just have to stay consistent. And so one of the things that I'm going to do to help myself stay consistent is that I'm going to challenge myself to have a no weigh November. I'm not going to weigh myself the entire November. Is it just me? Do you do this too, where like when you're on the carnivore diet, your weight changes a lot, right? And so you kind of want motivation for that. And then sometimes, at least I do, I get into this cycle of I want to step on the scale every single day and maybe even multiple times a day to see how my weight has changed. Yep. Have you ever experienced anything like that?
Personally, what I did was I weighed myself every morning, and that was it.
So you were still an everyday person.
Everyday person, but if it went up a half a pound or a pound, I just was like, it's fine, it's part of the process, keep going, and it always trended down.
Okay, so for me though, the problem is that when I weigh myself every day, if I didn't lose weight or if I gained weight, I feel demoralized and I want to cheat and I want to stop. Or if I've lost weight and I'm doing really good, or I lost more than I thought I would, then I'm like, oh, I'm doing so good. Now I can go cheat. So for me, sometimes the scale can be a stumbling block. So for the month of November, I'm just going to completely take the scale out. You need to go hide it for me. So I would like to encourage you, if you've ever found yourself in this cycle of getting on the scale and then having that impact whether or not you stay on track, I would just really encourage you to join this challenge with me of a no weigh November. It's kind of tricky. We're going into the holiday season. This is a difficult time of year for lots of people, and so we just need to stay on track and stay consistent, because if we can take each day one day at a time and we stay on track that one day, we say no to that ice cream or no to that peanut butter or no to the crackers, if we do that consistently, we're going to be able to get to the goals that we want to get to. So there you have it, guys. I've been carnivore for the last 60 days. I've lost 32 pounds, and I'm going to keep pushing forward so I can get to my goal of being below 200 pounds by the end of December. Make sure to let us know in the comments below if you're going to try to challenge yourself to do a no weigh November. I think it's going to be a really good challenge for me mentally to not be stepping on the scale so often. I think that's going to help me stay on track.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button, maybe hit the subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and we appreciate everyone watching and supporting us. We'll see you next time. Stay strong.
If you guys want to see some of the meals that helped me lose 32 pounds in the last 2 months, make sure to click on these videos, because I'm going to be sharing with you everything that I eat. You guys can do this. Let's do it. Stay strong.